Tennessee football has the kickoff times for the first 3 weeks of the 2022 season. Tennessee basketball has another commit. And Tennessee football, again, monster recruiting weekend on Rocky Top this weekend. Everything you need to know about the times, the players, and what's going on, that's right now on a Friday, Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome into this edition of Locked On Vols, your Friday edition. And thanks so much for making Locked On Vols your first listen. It's on YouTube, on SoundCloud, not on SoundCloud. I don't know why I said that. It's on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Odyssey, wherever you find your podcast. Each and every weekday morning, your go-to listen or watch for Tennessee football. It is Locked On Vols. And today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. It's got you covered this season with props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, it is where the game starts. So, fun show coming up today. First, we're going to get into some news items and the new Tennessee basketball commits in Cade Phillips, a four-star power forward for the class of 2023. Kickoff times for the first 3 weeks of the season. John Garcia of Sports Illustrated, our Locked On Vols expert, will join us here to talk a little Cruton in segment 2. And 2022 offensive lineman signee Masai Reddick joins the show in segment 3. So we are loaded up here on a Friday show, and I really do appreciate it. If you guys don't know me, I'm Eric Kane. Welcome to it. I do radio in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I write for the rival site covering the University of Tennessee. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Let's go ahead and get into it. First, we'll start with the football kickoff times. And, nothing major here. It's just announcing the kickoff times for the 2021 season. Of course, we already knew that it's going to be a 7 o'clock kick on Thursday night to begin the season on September the 1st against Ball State. But more notably, I guess, week 2 out on the road at Pittsburgh on September the 10th. That kickoff is going to be at 3:30 Eastern time. I've been saying all offseason that I feel like that's a nooner, right? Just has the feel of a nooner at Heinz Field on the road. About 30,000 people in the stands, nobody caring. But hey, I'm wrong. Hadn't been the first time. So that game will be 3:30 on ABC. And of course, that's the Johnny Majors Classic, the second time. It was the Johnny Majors Classic here at Tennessee this past season. And looking forward to going and covering that game. Now, the first home non-conference game, or I guess not the first one, the second one, but in the second home game of the season against Akron on September the 17th. That's going to be at 7 o'clock on the SEC Network, or actually on the SEC Network Plus and ESPN Plus. Remember, that's going to be the digital-only broadcast of the season. Every SEC school has to do at least one of those every single year. So that one's going to be the digital-only broadcast against Akron on September the 17th. Going to be a night game at 7 o'clock on SEC Plus, SEC Network Plus, and ESPN Plus. So a little bit of news that came out on a Thursday regarding Tennessee football. So if you're going ahead and making your plans for traveling to Knoxville, to Pittsburgh, over the course of the first 3 weeks, well, there's your kickoff time, so you can start planning around that. All right, what do we know about Cade Phillips? Cade Phillips, a 2023 power forward from Jacksonville, Alabama, about 6'9", 210, ranked 60th in the country per Rivals for the class of 2023. Went ahead and made his call on Thursday to attend the University of Tennessee. He made an official visit to Knoxville back in the fall, and I guess that bode well for him because he went ahead and committed to Tennessee on Thursday and to Rick Barnes. He also had visited previously to Alabama, to Georgia Tech, but again, ultimately went up and picked Tennessee. You had Rob Cassidy, the Rivals national basketball analyst, when asked for a quote at VolQuest.com. You can check out this entire article from Rob Lewis. But when Rob Cassidy was asked for a quote, he says, quote, "Phillips is an athletic big man that shines in the paint and creates second chance points, but he's starting to develop as a high post game and a decent 10-foot jumper as well. That said, his calling cards and his strengths are athleticism. It allows him to be to showcase some defensive versatility as he is capable of guarding multiple positions and is quicker than most people his size," end quote. Again, that is Rob Cassidy on Cade Phillips, Tennessee's new basketball commit for the class of 2023. That bodes well. I mean, you're not going to play unless you play defense for Rick Barnes, and being able to guard multiple positions, both on the blocks, out on the wings, the versatility, being an eraser, if you will. that's a good thing for sure. When you look at Cade Phillips, how he kind of fits in this class of 2023, first of all, he's the first prospect to commit for this class, Tennessee's basketball team, and it's a really, really good building block to begin things. He's a guy that can stretch a little bit. Olivier Cumwall is going to be leaving from the front court. You got Uros Plavsic that's going to be leaving from the front court. Those two guys will be seniors following this season. So you're getting some comparisons to Olivier Cumwall if you're Cade Phillips right now. So that's really off to a really, really good start. He's a big man whose perimeter game is still a work in progress, but he has the makings of turning himself into a stretch four at the next level. This is from Rob Lewis of VolQuest.com. Given his track record of player development at Tennessee under Rick Barnes, it's hard not to imagine Phillips turning himself into a prototypical big man capable of stretching the floor. And of course, we know that that's where the game of basketball is going. Stretch fours, that's what Brandon Huntley-Hatfield wanted to do more. And ultimately, he might have that opportunity at Louisville. But nonetheless, Phillips's father, John David Phillips, played quarterback at Alabama, if you didn't know. We talked about that earlier this week on the VolQuest podcast, actually. And his uncle Brody, his uncle is Brody Coyle. Additionally, his mother played basketball at Alabama as well. So little family divided type situation, if you will, right? Families going, Alabama alum and Alabama letterman, and now he's going to be pledged to come to Tennessee. So the big thing here for Tennessee, they get their first prospect to commit for the class of 2023. When you lose 4 seniors next year, and Josiah Jordan-James, Santiago Vescovi, Uros Plavsic, and Olivier Cumwall, and a really, really talented stretch four, athletic, a guy that is developing a mid-range jumper, but athletic, a guy that can be in the post, and a guy that is looking to get better out from beyond the arc as well. So that's a good sign. Tennessee picking up the commit of Cade Phillips on Thursday from Jacksonville, Alabama. All right, let's go ahead and hear from some people on recruiting. Yesterday, heard from Austin Price, and now let's check in with John Garcia, our guy from Sports Illustrated, director of recruiting over at SI. I'm looking forward to catching up with him here in just a moment. But our partners at BetOnline continue to be the number one source for everything your sports gambling can possibly need, right? Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, even next season's NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sport wagering information, from live betting to playoffs, esports, and a whole lot more. You can head on over to the website today or use that mobile device. Learn about all the latest trends and all the action. What a great time right now to pull out your phone and go to betonline.net. You've got hockey playoffs, you got NBA playoffs, the conference finals. Pretty soon you'll have the NBA finals. Never a slow day, really. I mean, PGA Championship was just this past weekend as well. NASCAR every single Sunday. Never a slow day. Pick it out today. BetOnline.net. It is where the game starts. Hey, thank you guys so much for making Locked On Vols your first listen each and every day. For your next listen, I encourage you to go check out the Lock On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so yesterday we chopped it up with Austin Price, a colleague of mine over at VolQuest.com, and today we're going to bring back our guy, John Garcia, the director of football recruiting for Sports Illustrated. John, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, Eric. Just trying to keep up. Lots coming though in the month of June, but we'll see. There's going to be a lot of commitments to track, so we're looking forward to seeing where those dominoes fall, as always.
Yeah, we are truly entering commitment season, if you will. And Tennessee won't likely get a commitment at all this weekend, but setting the table for what you hope is a very successful June and July. This is they're calling it Volapalooza. I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it the Memorial Day weekend premier recruiting event. We've talked about this a couple of times here in the past, but here it is. It's finally here. If you are a priority for the University of Tennessee, you are going to be here if able. Going to be mostly 2023s, a couple of 2024s, I'm sure, but a monster weekend and a lot of top tier talent going to be on Rocky Top this weekend. How big is this weekend for the University of Tennessee to set the stage for the summer?
Oh, it's huge. We've seen these events in the past at Tennessee and other programs really be the true, like you said, table setters for, digging in on the top priorities. And it's one thing to get kids on campus. Obviously, that's paramount in recruiting. But when you do it in conjunction with other elite recruits, they get to talking and they start to build towards something potentially together. And we all know that with Nico Iamaleava, that's really what they've been doing, since he jumped on board. He's been, very much vocal about recruiting for the Vols, and that's going to continue for like his 100th visit to Knoxville. So you've got him coming back, other commits coming back, and then guys who are really high on Tennessee and others who are new to the priority level with UT. And I think that's the group that is really fascinating. You're going to stay in the mix for Hunter Osborne and Vic Burley and Lucas Simmons and some of these guys. But when you get a Francis Mauigoa on campus for the first time, and you get some of these others who weren't previously associated, Samuel Mpemba, with a Tennessee, now as a recruiting analyst, I'm like, whoa, okay, the Vols haven't been in it for these guys, but here they come in short order. And that's something we've seen really consistently with UT in this cycle.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up a couple of those guys from IMG Academy. You were at IMG spring game. We'll call it, about 10 days, 2 weeks ago, I guess. And three of those players, one of which will be on campus. You got Francis, you got Francis, the offensive tackle. See, they have all these weird names. He's going to be on campus for the first time this weekend, and that's going to be huge for Tennessee, truly to get in it, for me. I believe Samuel Mpemba is going to be here in a couple of weeks from now, and that's a new name on Tennessee's radar. And then, of course, Carnell Tate, Tennessee is very much in it there. Tell me about what you saw from those three at IMG Academy, and then specifically about Mpemba, because, again, he's a guy that's new on Tennessee's board, but is going to give Tennessee a look, and Tennessee will have an opportunity to climb in that one as well.
Yeah, I'll start with Carnell Tate. I know, Vols fans know what he can do from a wide receiver standpoint. And look, the only wide receiver to catch a touchdown in the game was, drum roll, Carnell Tate. Caught a nice little flag route at the front pylon, went up to get the football. So kind of classic Carnell Tate there. But I actually was more impressed by his blocking. This is not something we really talk about much with him. IMG is a run-heavy offense, even though Carnell was their guy last year. They want to run the football. So all those wide receivers are really developed blockers by the time they leave that school. There was a screen pass to Jarrett Gibson, a 2024 running back, elite guy. I know, big shocker. And he's very fast. But when you watch him running 80 yards down the field, this number 17 comes out of nowhere. It's Carnell Tate, who just showed effort to chip a couple of guys at the end of the run to help propel Gibson into the end zone. And I was just like, whoa, that's – he's a finesse receiver who's a smooth type of guy. He's not really known for physicality, blocking, or even top end speed. And he showed all of that in one play. And I was just like, Carnell's, knows that I was curious about that element of his game, and he wants to be the number one guy. So showing a little bit more range than we certainly expected. So Carnell looked great. And then the other two, Mauigoa and Mpemba, they actually went against each other for the bulk of the night. Mauigoa is the starting left tackle for IMG, and Mpemba was the tight end last year, backing up number one tight end Jalil Skinner. Now he's flipping over to defense, where most of us feel like he's got a much higher ceiling towards the collegiate level. And man, you could see it right out of the gate. When they lined up against one another, you're like, okay, Mauigoa is more experienced. He's going to take care of business. And for some reps, that was the case. But there were a couple of times where Mpemba had Mauigoa on his heels, not only with speed, which is what you would expect, 6'5", 240, but with physicality, actually physically at the point of contact, getting Mauigoa on his heels. That is not something that we anticipated in watching him. So you understand why Mpemba's becoming this unicorn of a prospect, where it's like, hey, he's raw, he's athletic, we don't know what he's going to play, but we want him. A lot of big-time schools are saying that, and you could see why. And then Mauigoa, again, really consistent offensive tackle, very light on his feet for a guy over 300 pounds. He could play inside at the next level or right tackle, in my opinion. So he's got great versatility in addition to being, really strong at the point of attack.
Yeah, pick your poison. You will have, Mauigoa will be on campus this weekend. Shundavion Bradley will be on campus this weekend. Of course, Nico's going to be here. Anywhere you look up and down the roster or up and down the prospect board, the majority of those guys are going to be here at Tennessee this weekend. But I want to leave you with this here, John Garcia, director of football recruiting over at Sports Illustrated. A local prospect right here in Tennessee's backyard, attending Carnes High School. His name is Deshaun Bishop. He's a 3-star. He's not very highly rated, if you will, but he's got a couple Power 5 offers. Purdue, Michigan State is involved in there as well. It's been Tennessee's been active. Tennessee's gone to some of his games, have recruited him. He's been on campus. But I feel like this weekend, it's going to be very pivotal to see if Tennessee's going to go all in on Deshaun Bishop. You've got Webb still in the conversation at running back for Tennessee, Roderick Robinson. Of course, you had Jeremiah Cobb. But I think it's a big weekend for Deshaun Bishop. What do you see in a guy like Deshaun Bishop? And I know I just threw that at you, and I apologize, but you're a pro, so you'll just run with it. What do you see in Deshaun Bishop, a local prospect that potentially could be getting a good measuring stick type look here from Tennessee this weekend?
Eric, he's a pretty balanced running back from what I can tell. Not as familiar as some of the other names as you mentioned, Webb and Cobb in particular, but he looks fairly balanced to me. I think Tennessee is looking to bring in the type of running back that can fit in today's game. So it's not, your big bruising 230-pound guy, and it's probably not your 175-pound lighter guy. It's somewhere in the middle, and I think that's where Bishop is listed right now. I haven't checked today. But he looks like a balanced type of running back who's been productive in the past, a big junior season last year, and probably going to outdo that here as a senior. So it is interesting, though, to see how they recruit locally, right? It's kind of hard. I think we think of local prospects as, well, you can just go get them whenever you want. Well, it's not always the case. There's more pressure when you do extend that offer and push locally for kids like that, because if you say no, if there's some confusion or a change of plans, it hits harder. It hurts harder in that regard. But the running back boards are starting to materialize elsewhere, right? Roderick Robinson just committed to UCLA. Jeremiah Cobb's got a top 6 that is absolutely loaded. Trayon Webb has a ton of Florida buzz in addition to South Carolina and Tennessee. So you do need to think about potentially widening out that net. And I think a balanced local kid, could be just what the doctor ordered at the end of the day.
Awesome stuff from John. We'll be sure to get you back on the pod next week, and we'll recap everything that happened, the big takeaways from this past weekend, this premier recruiting events here at Tennessee. And John, what you got coming up on Sports Illustrated the rest of the week and the weekend?
We're still trying to figure out, where these quarterbacks are headed. Of course, we know where Nico's going, so a lot of quarterback news on SI, and Carnell Tate mailbag for Friday. So I'm definitely thinking your audience would want to check that one out. So check us out at si.com.
Absolutely. Go check it out. John, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure. Take care.
Awesome stuff as always from John Garcia of Sports Illustrated. Really do appreciate him taking some time to join the show and get us set for this weekend and get us caught up on some of the Tennessee's targets over at IMG Academy. All right, so let's end this week's worth of shows talking with a 2022 signee and offensive lineman, Mesai Reddick from Detroit, Michigan, a 3-star offensive guard, a run mauler, if you will, an interior presence. He was really, really good when I caught up with him earlier this week. Want to bring that conversation onto the podcast. Here's my chat with Tennessee signee, who will be coming to Rocky Top this weekend to begin his journey in Masai Reddick. Mesai, I know that your journey at Tennessee, your journey on Rocky Top is just about set to begin here in a couple of days, be coming down this weekend and be taking part in summer school and, of course, summer workouts here beginning at the 1st of June. How excited are you? I know that this has been a long time coming.
I'm really excited, man. I'm really looking forward to it, ready to get in there, get with the guys, get to work, and just, get used to the atmosphere, man. Because I've only been down there a couple of times for a couple of days, but, when you get down there, you're down there for good. It's a whole nother vibe. So I'm really excited, man. Just ready to get to work.
What have you been up to really this spring? I know that from afar, you've been seeing some of your fellow guys in the 2022 signing class already enrolled and doing stuff in the spring. And I know that must be hard for you, but kind of what's that been like? And what have you been doing this spring to prepare for this moment?
I've been doing the basic things, continuously running, making sure I stay conditioned, strength training, of course, but also, just trying to make sure, I'm balanced and, continue to keep my weight where it is right now, working on, speed and my strength and my ability to explode with power as best as possible, but also being able to control my body whenever I do that. So that's definitely something I've been working on, and foot speed as well. So those things I've been hitting on since.
Now, can Tennessee give you like a plan, like in terms of the strength conditioning plan to like maybe do at home? And if so, but kind of how much different is it compared? I know it's nothing like what's going to be when you get here. I get that. But how different was it compared to some of the stuff you were doing in high school?
It's been really different, man. I mean, compared to, high school, it's kind of just get in there, grab whatever weight we tell you to grab and just get going. But, with what things are now and at Tennessee, man, everything's for a reason. There's no wasted movement, no wasted exercise, no wasted time. So, for the things that I've been doing and they've had me doing is strictly to make sure that I'm in the best spot physically and I'm the healthiest physically as well, so that I can, be prepared to go through whatever I need to go through when it comes season and practice and things of that nature.
All right, Masai, so tell us a little bit about you, man. You're, well, first of all, where are you kind of at right now? About 6'3", 280?
Nah, that's, it's crazy, man. Everybody asks me that question, man. I'm actually 6'5", 330 right now.
I'll tell you what, we're a little outdated on the Rivals profile, to say the least. I probably had that written down somewhere else. But so, all right, so
Yep.
6'5", 330. So you've obviously grown since the last time there's been an evaluation on your profile.
Definitely.
How are you feeling in terms of your speed, your feet, and your ability to play in this offense? Then I know we spoke in the past. I believe you have some experience in an up-tempo offense before.
Yep. Yeah, man. So basically, personally, I feel very confident with my feet right now. Speed wise, I feel really, really good compared to, how I started. Towards the end of the high school season, I feel like my feet were good, but they weren't really good enough to, be where I wanted them to be. So that's something I definitely worked on, including just, speed overall. I feel really good right now. I'm able to explode out my stance a lot better, feel really fluent in my stance, real loose. I'm not tight anywhere, it's hard to bend, hard to, you do certain things, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, man, I mean, in every category so far, I feel like from where I was to where I am now is just an absolute huge improvement. I feel a lot better. Changed my diet completely. So since doing that, I feel like 10 times better, 110 times better. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now, man.
How excited are you to be able to start this relationship? I mean, the relationship's been going on for a long time. Obviously, he recruited you, but I guess this working relationship with Tennessee's Glenn Ellerbe.
I am ecstatic. Coach Ellerbe is an amazing coach. Has a goal for all his players, a certain thing he wants all of us to do, stay focused at all times, stay aggressive at all times, and also, execute all plans. And the thing about him, man, is he's just a great guy internally, awesome guy. Doesn't say too much, but you know what he means whenever he says something. So that's the number one thing. And I'm just so excited to get to work with him, to get in that room with him, look at film and talk about techniques and different things here and different looks, different defensive formations and things of that nature. So I'm really just pumped up, man. I could get, I could jump up and be ready right now if he was here, but I gotta give it some time. So I'm definitely excited.
So, I mean, I know that, there'll be a learning curve once you get on campus and everything in the summer before fall camp. And I know you're excited about that. How were some of the relationships with some of these other offensive linemen in your class, with Mo Clipper and, of course, Addison Nichols, Brian Grant, some of these guys? Have you guys been keeping in touch? What have they said about Tennessee so far to you? Kind of how's that going?
Man, we got a whole group chat now. So we always stay in touch. We're always talking, communicating, last guy I talked to Mo not too long ago, and Mo was just like, man, it's amazing up here, man. It's everything we ever thought about. They were just like, when you get here, it's just same thing we've all known, man. And we all knew when we first committed and, looking at the atmosphere that when you get here, it's going to be time to work because we got something we got to prove. We got something we want to show everybody. So with that being said, man, everybody, me, Addison, Mo, and Brian too, we all knew what it was, man. We all knew we got to get to work as soon as we get there, especially in that room. So we already knew what it was, bro. But yeah, I definitely talk to those guys all the time. Those my guys for real, bro. For real.
Yeah, well, outside the offensive line room, when you start looking at the rest of your signing class and Taven Jackson, some of these other guys, Justin Williams, and I know there's I think you guys might have a group me going on. What do you guys want to accomplish as a group? Of course, everybody wants to win a national championship. I've heard that you guys want to, change the culture, change the tide at Tennessee. What are some of those things you guys talk about in terms of, the next 3 or 4 years? These are your teammates, these are your brothers, and you're going to be in it with these, this group of 20, 22 guys for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I could definitely say, man, as a group, just like you said, man, we won a national championship. Goals definitely as a collective group is national championship, proving everybody what, the University of Tennessee and what the Vols can do. But me personally, man, I have my, we all have our own personal goals of what we would like to accomplish. But I think we all mostly are just around that one thing, the national championship. Me personally, I want the university or period, man. I want us to have a certain like aggression to us, man. So whenever you come play us, it's not going to be, patty cake or here, but we go slow here. And no, it's always we're going to pound it and, shove it down your throat and get in your face about it. So that's the demeanor that I want to keep. And that's the demeanor that I love. So that's what I loved about the entire program since Coach Heupel and everybody has gotten there. So that's definitely something I want to continue and make even more known in the SEC and around college football, period. So that's definitely my goal, period, man. For me, that is.
Wrapping things up here with Mesai Reddick, a 2022 signee for the University of Tennessee offensive line. All right, man, tell us about, part A on the field. Who are you on the field? Who should Tennessee fans expect you to be on the field? And then part B, who are you off the field? What are some of your interests and kind of away from the locker room and all that? What do you do to fill your time? Are you into, some, video games, or is it movies or whatever it may be? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Definitely on the field, man. I am definitely going to be like a hard worker. I'm definitely a hard worker, very aggressive, very secluded. So I won't say much. Very aggressive and powerful in the run game, as everybody knows. I love running the ball, man. I love running the ball no matter what it is. Conservative in the pass play and a pass rush. Definitely, sit back in my stance, able to sit and wait for the defenders. Not too aggressive to the point where, I overshoot or overcalculate a set or a man. So I'm definitely good with the pass set, and just as a football player, period, man, I'm going to work my ass off to, make sure everything's straight and everything's straight and where it's supposed to be, man. Because I want everything to be perfect, man. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to football, man. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to life, period. But especially with the sport, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to plays, how the players ran, where everybody should be, how everybody should be there. So that's definitely for me. And then off the field, man, just like how I'm talking to you now, man, I'm just like how this is, man. So I'm just a goofy person, bro. Like I am a goofy person. So like if you ever see me, don't be afraid to come talk to me. If I look like mean or mad one day, you can still talk to me. That's just the type of guy I am. I'm feeling like really I am. I mean, and then game wise, I don't get on the game like that a lot. But if anybody try to, I'm just gonna say this now for everybody who is watching. If you really think you like that and you think you can get one on me, please, simple as that. Just hit me up and we can get it going. I have no problem handing out L's. I'm very generous. I'm a very generous man. You know what I'm saying to you? But that's all I got to say. About off the field.
Yeah, good stuff there, man. Safe to say on the field, a warrior; off the field, Jolly Giant, 6'5", 335 pounds. So good stuff there. Well, Mesai, I appreciate it, man. Best of luck to Tennessee getting in this weekend. Of course, starting summer school and summer workouts here at the 1st of June. Appreciate the time, and I know everybody watching is looking forward to seeing what you can do.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Thank you so much for having me, man. And I'm really excited, and go Vols, man.
Really fun conversation there with 2022 offensive lineman signee Masai Reddick. As you can tell, he's got a personality that is too small for this room right now. He's got an awesome personality. Really, really fun to talk to him. Hope you enjoyed that here on the show. So another week is in the books, big time week, and we'll have a big weekend to unravel on Monday and tons from the SEC baseball tournaments as regionals getting set to go next weekend, and a continued football recruiting and a whole lot more. We'll get to that all next week. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. And don't forget to make the Locked On NBA Big Board your second listen, right behind Locked On Vols. Of course, that's your first listen. Learn about Kennedy Chandler, the NBA Combine. Prepare yourself for the NBA Draft with the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast. It's available on Odyssey and wherever you find your podcast. Guys, thanks so much. Enjoy your weekend. Appreciate the support of the show. Like, comment, subscribe. Please do all the numbers on YouTube. That will help me out, and I really, really do appreciate that. Until next time, enjoy your Friday and stay safe, everybody.